So, welcome, guys. Let's continue with the with the uh, next topic, right? Topic is not actually next. It's just a continuation of my yesterday class. Okay, so what exactly we was talking about, right? So yesterday, guys, I introduced you one new concept that is called pipeline as code. Okay, so very quickly, let me explain you what pipeline as a code will do for you as a quick summary. And today, guys, I have a very interesting demo to present you. Okay, very interesting demo. You definitely like this demo, the way we are going to plan our pipeline today. Okay, and for this, I need two instances. One I have here where I have a Jenkins setup that we use till date, and this one more extra node we need. Okay, and this node I'm going to use as a host of my Docker. Because today I'm going to launch multiple worker node, but I want those worker node to be provisioned dynamically. So this node or this instance I am going to use for the Docker instances, right? Okay. So what's the plan, right? So now you think in this way. If you talk about the Jenkins, okay. So in the Jenkins, guys, you know it is an automation server. And for automation, now we have two different approach. Okay, so if you have a steps, if you want to automate something, okay, so for automate, either you can create a job, okay, or second approach would be, or second concept would be, you can create a pipeline. Okay, so there's two different things you can use in the Jenkins. Okay, and the pipeline that I'm talking about is known as Jenkins pipeline. So I'm not talking about the delivery or build pipeline plugins. That was just a plugin to show you the view or visuals. So whenever you guys heard this term pipeline, it normally means Jenkins pipeline, and Jenkins has their own plugin for this that will give you to create a pipeline. Okay, and this is the newest approach in the Jenkins. Nowadays, almost whenever we want to create a job and do automation in the Jenkins, we don't use a traditional approach that is to create the job. To creating the job is we can think is a one kind of traditional approach. The newer approach would be to create the pipeline. Okay, that's the new approach we use. Okay, but if you talk about the traditional approach, we have both the facility we have there. We have the UI, user interface, graphical way. We go and create the job that we have done in my initial classes. We have one more approach in the job. We can use DSL, job DSL. We can write a Groovy code to create the job. Okay, but if you go for pipeline, okay, pipeline concept, there normally we have to write the code by obviously with the DSL language. So this is the normal approach in the pipeline we use. Okay, but if you go for traditional approach, you create a one job, then second job and third job. Okay, so let's say we create one job, then second job and third job, we connect all the job together. Then that is called pipeline. there. And how you connect, you guys know. When it's for second job, we'll tell the first one is upstream, second is downstream. We use some triggers, and they will run in this series, and pipeline created. Okay, and because this is a very common use case, because whenever you want to do something, a lot of steps you want to perform, a lot of stages you have. A typical term, for example, typical step would be, or stage would be, I want to do build first, then I want to test the second, then I want to deploy third. So a lot of stages we have normally, and almost all the stages are multiple steps. Okay, and because this is a very common use case, so Jenkins has changed their way they organize their automation, and they introduce pipeline as a core concept, or pipeline as a plugin, and they say this is a very common approach and very common use case. Everywhere we have multiple stages, so rather than we use the word job, now instead of job, you can say now this is not job one that will only help you to build. instead of the job, I'll say this is stage 1. Okay, this is my stage 2. This is my stage 3. And all the stages will write together in a code, and all the stages will run together one by one the way we write and become a pipeline. Okay, so technically exactly same thing we are doing. So as a as a output perspective or use case perspective, exactly what we used to do in the job we are going to do over here. There is no as such difference. Okay, but the way we organizing inside the Jenkins, the way we crafting the thing, okay, where we configuring or implementing the thing in the Jenkins, that approach change, and that's called a code as a pipeline, or pipeline as a code. Okay, so that's what I was trying to explain you in my in my yesterday class. Okay, so what's my plan today? So my plan today is something like this. Okay, so we have a Jenkins, and very interesting things we are going to do today. Okay, so we have a Jenkins over here. Now from onward, okay, we are not going to create a job, one job, two job, one for build, one for test, one for deploy, one for other things. Okay, we're going to create a job. Okay, we only create a job for one purpose, only for one purpose. Purpose to create the job is to run the code. Let's go pipelines of code. So that is the only purpose we are going to create a job. Okay, because typically at the code level, if you want to run something in Jenkins, by default they understand job only. Okay, so we create a job, okay, to run our code for the pipeline. And that's what we had done yesterday. So this code, if I run, technically is a base or traditional way, or the code at the code level, they only understand job by chance. There's a different point. So this job we create only to create or run this code. Okay, that's the only need to create the job in the Jenkins. Otherwise, entire deployment or entire process automation we have to do or manage by the code. And you guys know, if you create something in the code always give you guys a very granular control every part of your job. Maybe from the UI, if you go, might not be some kind of customized things come up, or some kind of some unique use case come up. Maybe that UI or the job might don't have that option. Okay, but if you have a code, and by chance this code is come from some language, here the language Groovy, and everything comes from the language. So language give you all the tools that you need to customize. Maybe you have a requirement to write conditions, if or else. I say if this is developer environment, don't test. Or this is the QA environment, then do testing. Very small requirement. Okay, but if you try to solve this use case, right, with job and UI, maybe very harder or maybe impossible to do that. But if you create your entire pipeline with the code, so in the code we can write very simple language syntax of if or else if, maybe, or switches and cases, and there we can very quickly implement and say, like if condition, if this environment is dev, do this, otherwise do this. Okay, so any tool or platform, if they provide you code, way to control the things, it give you dynamic capabilities, right? Anything you want to customize, you can very easily customize on the top of this platform. So today, what is my plan? So what is pipeline we discussed, plugin we installed already. So today what I'm going to do, let me show you that the roadmap for today, or agenda for today. And slowly guys, we are going a little bit in depth or in advance of this particular topic. Okay, so what's the plan for today? Guys, can you hold for a second, please? Okay. So what's the plan for today? We are going to create a pipeline. Okay, and based upon our older knowledge, pipeline normally means I have a job 1, job 2, and job 3. But now guys, in the pipeline, as a code, this job is known as stage. So we stage 1, to stage 3. Okay, and what normally we'll do in this stage, let's say in this stage I want to go to GitHub, my SCM tool, to download the code. In this stage I want to build this code with compile and package. In this I want to test my code, or let's say we have one more job or one more stage here, right? Anything you want to say here, but technically here it's called stage. I want to deploy means run my code, or this maybe a war file or some website. I want to deploy the web server or the app server. So these are the stages we have or jobs we have, and we select each other one by one. Then it is called pipeline. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do here, how to create these stages, we see yesterday. Multiple stages together we see yesterday, and they run one by one. We have seen this. So what I plan today, right? The way I did this practical in my jobs part. So what I did, if you want to run this job, and this job require SCM, let's say they want to go for Git. So this job require, let's say, Git command behind the scene. So we have created one dedicated worker node for this. Either you can create dedicated, means static, or maybe you can say whenever this job run, or dynamically provisioning this slave node or the worker node. Okay, and after this this worker node provisioning, and what this worker node have, they have all the tools whatever we're looking for. So they launch this worker node dynamically, right? It's called provisioning, and connect this worker node to my master computer. This code register, and master computer will allocate this job one to this worker node. Okay, and guys, here instead they allocate the job, I want my master node will allocate this stage. I guys understand, is very interesting thing. Typically pipeline is one single code. One single code. Okay, but even though in one single code we can ask that in this code, wherever you have stage 1, allocate this stage to this worker node. And by chance this worker node may be static, or maybe come from dynamic, let's say from Docker, or maybe from Kubernetes. Okay, so I'll say launch this worker node from a Docker, and you guys know when they launch from the Docker, it's the container, and container always launch for the image. Okay, image. So I'll give a lot of images to Docker, image 1, image 2, image 3. I'll tell my Docker, this image contain Git tool. Second image contain Maven tool. Third image contain, let's say, Tomcat server. Okay, so I'll tell my, I give all the images to my Docker, either we created or maybe we can get from GitHub, from Docker Hub, and tell to my master node in the pipeline, when this job technique is called stage run build, I need an environment, I need a worker node that has Maven. So who will give this a worker node? My Docker. So Docker will launch this OS for you. Okay, but why Docker launch this OS? Because we ask them, obviously. But from which image? I tell my Docker use this image to launch this Maven. Okay, after this worker node launch, let's say this is worker node 2, they register with the master node. Master node provide this job, technically here called this stage. So they allocate second stage to second independent, very different Docker container that contain that kind of environment. So my technically, you know what the interesting thing would be, whenever you run this pipeline as a code, okay, if you have 4 stages, all the 4 stages one by one, this is called serial way. Okay, we can run in 4 different container that dynamically launch and dynamic created, and every every container have a different environment. Okay, different tool or different thing to be configured, like maybe or maybe Tomcat or Git or something like this. Okay, so that's the plan, guys, for today, how you can allocate different stages for different worker node, and that worker node is also dynamic. That's the plan for today, guys. Very interesting practical, very advanced practical. Mostly normally in the Jenkins kind of training, this kind of practical normally never demonstrate. I don't think so, guys. None of the training in the market of Jenkins, maybe advanced level, they normally demonstrate this practical. But if you have this practical ready with you, now automatic node of new concept automatic auto come up, or not a lot of new use case automatic arise. And those things you ask me, and then I'll try to show you some more advanced thing on the top of this. Like, but let us at least today, let's build this setup. Build this setup, okay, and see what new requirement arise, and those things we will see in the next classes. Okay, so let's start this concept one by one. How to create a pipeline is a code that you know, but how to attach multiple stages uh, per uh, per worker node, and that is worker node is also dynamic. And guys, that is the reason what I need one Docker host. Docker host means I need one OS. In my case, I have a Reddit system where Docker engine is run. And that's what, guys, I'm using here, this particular instance. So this instance have a Docker engine running. Very quickly, let me log in to this instance. Okay. And guys, this demonstration, I already show you how to connect Jenkins to the other computer where Docker host is running. So this configuration we have already done in my last classes. So I'm not going for that particular part, but very quickly I want to show you in this system, Docker is running. Okay. In this system, Docker is running. So we can see Docker PS, Docker is running, and there's no container running right now. And we can run one more command called netshot-tnlp and search for 23 some port number, and you can see Docker daemon is exposing this particular port. And this console, guys, we have already configured. And why I expose this? I want my Jenkins to be connected. So for the Jenkins, Docker host would be the cloud. Okay, and this cloud setup we have already done in our Jenkins. Very quickly, let me show you to you how it look like. Okay, so just a minute, let me share this screen. This setup I already had. And as a Jenkins perspective, if you go to manage Jenkins, and if you go to manage cloud, if you go to configure cloud, okay, and here, guys, I have set up one Docker cloud, and here I have given the agent title and said that if anybody want to use Docker with this level, then I'm going to use this image. So understand one thing, guys, very, very important to understand here. Okay, it is very clearly mentioned here. Okay, anybody, okay, who asks to launch a worker node dynamically, because I'm the Docker, I will launch a container dynamically. I will only launch dynamically from this image of the Docker that's come from Docker Hub, only if they ask me to use this level. Or I can say if they use this level. So it is something like this: when you launch a job, and job always assigned to worker node. So this job assigned to which worker node? So worker node who has this level. But here, instead of the job, we are going to use stage. That's the only difference. Otherwise, everything's same. Okay. So while creating the stage, I'll tell stage you are going to assign to this worker node have this level, and this level behind the scene use this image. It means this worker node launch from this image. This is called container. And what we have in this worker node, what are the commands and files we have here? So if you need git command in worker node, use git Docker image. If you want Maven command, use Maven related Docker image. Okay. And that is the reason why we can create multiple Docker clouds. So here we create one more, we can create one more. So a lot of Docker template you can create, right? Why? Because every every template gonna use different images, and every image we give a different level. Okay, so let's say this will be level Git, second Maven, next is Tomcat. So 10 different images you have, 10 different levels we have, and based upon the job or the stages, we allocate respective levels. Okay, this is one thing. And one more thing you guys know already, when you create a worker node is also sometimes known as agent. So when you look at the job or the stage, you tell which agent to use or which worker node to use. So this is the normal vocabulary we use. Okay. So let me start one by one, how we gonna set up this environment. Okay, so this setup I already have, so nothing to do here. Again, how to set up, how to test, everything we have done in our last classes. Okay, plan for today is to create a pipeline. So I'm going to create new item, and here let's say this is my uh, pipeline for Docker. Okay, something like that. Okay, and obviously this is a pipeline we have to select because this is a pipeline. So this is a pipeline we have, and now let me configure in detail. And here, guys, you go to pipeline, and obviously there's a script. So I'm going to write a script directly here, not from the Git we are downloading. We'll see in the future, but nothing special. Or we put the code and download from there. But right now I'm putting the pipeline here. So how to create a pipeline? The basic keyword, you know. So we use pipeline as a keyword. Okay, and in the pipeline, the minimum requirement is you have to tell how many stages you have. Okay, curly brace start, curly brace close. Thing it is like a block of code. And here, how many stages you have? So let's say I have one stage. Let's say the stage is called Git. Okay, or Git SCM. So this is stage name. You can give anything that I already talked about yesterday. It's just a stage name. Or think guys, this stage is like a job. So this is my job name. Okay, what stage will do? It will go to GitHub and download. Let's just for very quick testing. Let me run the date command. Just quick testing. Let me run the date command. But guys, when you create a stage or a job, okay, you allocate this job to a worker node. And yesterday, guys, we have used an agent called any. Any means whatever the node available, just go and launch them. Maybe you already have static worker node, or maybe master node, go and launch the job there. That's the meaning of agent. And guys, here we do something here today. Okay, so my node would be any. So that's the plan. That's the actual thing we have here. Okay, so very simple pipeline we had already tested yesterday, but let me very quickly go and check. Okay, and what I'm going to do right now, if I go to my dashboard, okay, if you see, guys, I have only one master, I have two ideals, means two executors we have, and when I run this job, what I created, I will click here. My job is started, and you see, guys, the job is started on the agent, that is the master node. Okay, so let me refresh. So this job is field. Okay, why is field? Let me check. This job is field. They say I don't understand what is a date. Okay, a date. Most probably the reason is, guys, here we have to give the steps. Okay, I think I forgot the keyword steps. Maybe this might be reason. Let me quickly go to my project. Okay, so here, guys, stage contain multiple steps. So we have to use a keyword called steps, and this is the step called date. So this stage is job, and job contain multiple steps. One of the steps I want to run here is called date. Okay, this might be reason they fail. Okay, so let me again run the job. Guys, here they started the job. Okay, and obviously they complete because the date command, and you will see against fail. Okay, again they say I don't know what is date, and now, guys, here is a very important point to be noted. Okay, if you want to write pipeline as a code. Okay, so you have to use the steps. Okay, date is never the step. Again, I'm repeating. Okay, you have to write the steps. Okay, one of the step may be Maven. One of the step may be Git. One of the step may be related to, for example, Maven test. Okay, one of the step may be deployment. Okay, date is a command, and command, guys, is a part of the step, and that step is called a shell. So you know what I'm talking about. For example, when you create a normal job, let's say some normal job as a freestyle. So here you don't see any 1 minute. You don't see any boxes like date. Either we have source code, we have trigger, we have environment, we have build, and if in the build, guys, there is no date here. Because date is just a command. If you want to run a date as a command or cal as a command, it is a part of shell. So shell is one of our step. See here, step. Okay, and inside the shell, guys, we run the date command. So date command is just an argument of this shell. And you guys know what a shell is. A shell. We have multiple shells we have in the market. Typically, we have SH as a shell. So that's what guys we have to do here. So small thing to be noted. So here, when you configure something, you have to tell your steps, not a command. And your step would be SS. Means you're going to use one step is called shell, and date is one of the argument. So to put in single quote or maybe in double quote. Okay, so this might be reason why they are giving this error. They say I don't know what is date. Date is never the step. SS is one of the steps you have. It's called shell step. Okay, it means you run any of the command, right? And obviously this is a command in Linux. You use SS. If you're Windows, you can use batch, means BAT. Step you can use here. Okay, save. And if again build, so I think this time it should work. So the building, but right now we have set any. So they build it, logs come up, or maybe from here you can see. So they build in any agent, or typically any here normally mean to say they build on the top of a master. So what are the master date and time they show me right now? But that's not our plan. Our plan is to run this job on a worker node, and that is a dynamic worker node. So obviously, guys, now you can very easily relate. It means we have to use something else instead of any. Okay, what to do? We'll tell something like we have to use Docker with this level and something like this. Means you have to do something on the agent. So we obviously want to do something in the agent, you write some block of code inside the agent. Okay, some block of code you have to write. And here you have to be very clear that now agent won't be static like any. Okay, I want my agent to be agent, you guys know, is like a worker node or node. So I want my node from somewhere else. Okay, from where? So you can, guys, how you attach your job. When you attach the job, you attach the job with a label. I can say right now my worker node is not running right now. It will come dynamically, but I know the level. I know the level of my my worker node who will launch dynamically. And how you find the level, you guys know. I can go to my again cloud. Okay. Okay, manage. I go to my cloud, and you can see the name of your my slave method. So that's what I would like to use here. Okay, so I'll say my level would be this one. And by chance, this level is associated with this image, and this image contains some Maven command or some other command with Git. So depending which command is available in this image, those command you can use here. Okay, but technically this is the only thing you have to do. It means we're asking whenever there's any job run here or any stages run here, I want this to be deployed in this in this particular node. Okay, now after changing this, what you will see? Save this. Now this time, what you will see is it is almost the same practical what I show you in my jobs classes. Okay, of Docker. So right now, guys, this is one of the content running due to some other reason. Because I already connected, and because I say any, so they launch here, but only one is running. Okay, now what happened when I run this pipeline again? Okay, this time what you see, guys, job started. Okay, and if you see the log of the job, okay, they dynamically, guys, launch new uh, worker node. And you can see here, guys, they launch one more 11-second ago. Okay, they launch here this one, and inside this they run the command and then okay, so something like this we already did in our job class, but this time we have done with a code. Okay, but understand one thing in this example. In this example, this is not exactly I wanted actually. Okay, but in this example, if we have if we have 4 stages, all the stages gonna run in this node. Okay, what I mean by this? So let me do one thing. Let me create more stages. I can understand one thing. Stages is like a stage like a job. So let's say this stage is called Maven stage, or maybe a better would be build stage. And just for testing, what I'm doing here, I'm using echo as a command. Echo, this is git. Okay, and guys, by chance, echo is also a command, but echo is also one inbuilt Jenkins step. So here, guys, you don't have to use sh. If you use sh, if you don't use sh, that will be okay, because echo is one of the built-in step. Okay, so you don't have to write echo. So let's say echo git, and let me use this is echo means print build something, and let me create one more. Let me say it is testing. Okay, test. So 3 jobs I'm running, or 3 stages I'm running, and here in the top I said use dynamic agent from the Docker. Okay, let's see what happened. If I save this, and if I build right now, before I build, what I'm doing here, I have Docker running, and let me terminate this this particular container, so we can see what happened very clearly. Okay, so only one container, none of the container we have running right now, and when I run this job, okay, it is started, and behind the scene, what you will see, they are running one stage. Before this, they are waiting to worker node to come up. So worker node is coming up. They launch worker node 8 seconds ago. Okay, and they run the git, then build and test, and you will see there. Okay, everything is run in one single agent. Okay, and guys, here only one agent they launch with this name www something. One single node they launch. Okay, and all the stages means all the job, and stage might have multiple steps. This means everything they launch in one worker node. Maybe sometimes okay, but based on our requirement, our requirement is something like this. I want all the stages on the worker node will launch in different worker nodes. Okay, that's what our plan is. Okay, for this, what you have to do, and for this, I want this will run in different worker node, different Docker container. This will run in different Docker container. That's what I wanted here. Okay, so for this, what you have to do. So again, you have to go to configure, pipeline as a code, and here, right now, I write the stages here, and before the stages, inside the obviously everything is a pipeline only. Before stages, you can think globally I set as a global variable. You can think agent is this one. Means all the stages and all the steps you run only in this worker node, whatever you launch. Okay, but now what you have to do, let me guys share this screenshot to you if you want to practice further. Okay, now I'll say here, do one thing. No, I don't need any global agent here. So there's a keyword called none. I don't need any agent globally, because my plan is per stage agent. Okay, and because this per stage agent, so I go to my stage 1, and here inside this I can use a keyword called agent. That's the only thing you have to do. Okay, so now this is like a local variable or local setting we are doing. So for this stage or for this job, I am going to set up agent. Again, it's static. No, so it will come from a level, and level name I think is my slave. Oh, let me check. my slave maybe. So this is the level I'm going to use. Okay. So for this stage, I want this agent come up. They're dynamic, they don't launch dynamic. Same thing I'm doing here. Copy. For this stage, I want this one. By chance, guys, I have only one guy to be set up, one image I have, but technically you can create more templates. Okay, every template has a different image, every image you give different level, and different level you can use it. Okay, just if you want to test further, but right now I'm using the same thing I'm doing for next stage also. Here I'm going to use different level. Why different level? So here we need testing, and this level we have different image. They have testing tool. This guy have a build tool. This guy have a git command. Okay, they will run. And by chance, this is by default nature of your pipeline. They run stages in a series. They run first this one. After they complete, then run this one. After they complete, then they run this one. It's for series. We have way of parallelism also. How we can run all the guys parallel. Might we have some workload where I want all the job run parallel due to some reason. How to do this? We have a capability. We'll see in our next classes. Okay, but this time they run in parallel. All the stage, all the job gonna run in different Docker content. Okay, so one pipeline, and this is the exactly same setup you're going to see here. Okay, so before I build, what I'm going to do, let me again go to my Docker system. So let me terminate this also, so that it will be very clear. And now we have only none of the container is running. Okay, what you will see here when I launch, the job is started. So if you see here, okay, they're launching. One come up. Let me keep on checking. They launch this one. This is the new worker node come up. They are going to register. They run the job there. Okay, or maybe just go there. Now they are launching second one. Yeah, see here, a second come up, right? Second come up. It's a very different content in the launch. By chance they come from different image, because I use same image, but you can use different image also. There's image, this image content different command. Second come up. Okay, see here guys, we just focused on the name. First one recurring, second motion something. Okay, and now second job is running. Now see here, third one is started. Happy something. So you can see here third also started. So all the stages is building in the different slave node or worker node, and there are obviously two dynamic. Again, this time is right. You can see the log from here. You can see the output. There's the git message. You can see the output of this stage is a building. If you see the output, this log, this is a test. So everything working great, and better would be you can just go to console. You can see. Okay, they launch this node, they print this, then they launch second one. See here, very different. Then they print this, then the third one, they print this. So entire pipeline is being distributed. This is the best example of distribution of your load of your entire job or workflow in different working environment. Okay, so that's what they're talking about. If you go to build pipeline, guys, here they show you entire pipeline. Okay, it's a visual. They say they start pipeline, they started, then this job we run. Okay, then they show you this one, then show you this one. The entire graph and tree they show you is like a history. Okay, you can go and see which one is failed. Okay, you can just go and check the log for particular thing. For example, if you click here, they take you the log of that point in time, what kind of error was there. Okay, so everything they describe here of the entire pipeline steps. Okay, and this also they have the workspaces right now because I launched 3 container. Everybody has their own workspace, but I don't have anything in the workspace because none of the data we have downloaded. Okay, so that's how guys work. Now let's do some more things here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here, let's do some Maven or GitHub kind of thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do, Let me go to configure. This is the guy's actual concept. This is the example where I explain the concept, right? How per stage wise you can assign the dynamic nodes. Okay, that's what I explained in this example. Let me share this code to you. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, let's say the duty of this stage is to download git code. Okay, so let me write here git downloading just for testing. Downloading. Okay, but here guys, the main plan here is in this worker node I want my git to download. Okay, and for this guys, there's two ways. If you want to write the step, either you can use the git clone command. It is a pure command and you can put your URL of the git, or because this is a Linux command or maybe Windows command, then you have to use a step called sh. Okay, it means entire skills of your command lines or maybe your shell scripting you can put it because they support scripting or the bash scripting for Windows. Okay, but it is always recommended always try to find does Jenkins or pipeline has some step pre-available, pre-created for Git or for Maven, something like this. Okay, so rather than I write the git command, let's just check does they have a step available for the git. So better would be use the step, or you can think step is like a keyword name. For example, you know, echo is one of the step name, sh is the one of the step name. Okay, Maven maybe is one of the step name. So just go and check does we have any pre-keyword for git or pre-keyword for steps, not stages, for steps available. How to check? Again, go for Jenkins pipeline document, or there's one more way. There's a better way to do it. Okay, so Jenkins guys by default provide you very interesting tool. It's called pipeline syntax. An interesting thing guys here is, okay, you don't have to memorize these commands or these syntaxes. They dynamically created or generate a commands or syntaxes for you. Okay, so here we have pipeline syntax. Click here. They open this tool locally. It is a generator of your code. It's called a snippet generator. And here they talk about which step you want to create, you want to generate. Okay, so do you want to generate something about Git? So for example, Git. So there's all the steps, whatever the support for Windows based scripting. For echo, I told you that echo is also one of the step, or maybe sh shell. Okay, or here in my case is Git. So here tell me which URL you have. Okay, so let's my plan is to use the same URL that I used in the last classes also. So my plan is to use this particular URL. This one. Okay, so I put here, this is my URL. Or let's say maybe in my URL, I have a different branch altogether. Okay, I want to pick from this different branch. Okay, I can give my branch name here, what branch name we have. Or maybe my Git is a private Git. So I can put my credentials here. Just for demo, I'm just putting my credentials here. Just for demo. It is public, but just for demo, I'm putting some credentials here. Okay. Now, interesting thing is this is a web UI, and this web UI is going to create a snippet, means a code for you. So you can actually copy paste there. Okay. And it is just they create a code for the step goal Git. Okay. So let me share this page to you. Okay. And now if you click on the generate pipeline script, click, and guys, they create this command for you. See here. So don't have to go to document and see the syntax of Git keyword, the URL keyword. They have to put comma, they have to use this keyword. You don't have to worry about. Directly copy this code and paste inside the step. Okay, the code. By chance, in my case, I don't have any credential. Okay, I have just Git account and branch is master. So let me regenerate, and they create it. And because guys, by default, my branch is master, so they don't write any branch name here. But if you see, if you search, for example, if you change the branch name, they also add the branch there. If you don't put any branch here, it means by default they always consider master as a branch. Okay, so this code they created. Now this would be one of my step, so I put here. And now because git step is available, so you don't have to use git command. You can use their keyword. Git step means they have their own keyword for the git because they understand what is git. Okay, this command is available. So okay, so it means in this stage I assign to this worker node, and this worker node going to run two steps, one this and one this. This one, guys, this particular worker node going to do for us. Okay, so let me check very quickly. Let me build. So what you'll see, guys, again they launch a Docker container, but inside the Docker container they are downloading the code for the GitHub. Okay, so they launch Docker container, and inside the Docker container, if the Docker container has internet connectivity, if they have, so they go to they print this. This is the one step, and they are downloading from the Git. So in my case, I have a connectivity of the Docker. So this step is done. Okay, now they're launching next stages to do the further fix, right? So this is, guys, the flow, and main point, guys, does this concept, Git and Maven, all the things, I'm not focusing much about because this practical we've seen multiple times. My plan and focus is how to create a pipeline as a code. Okay, and try to show you some concept and vocabulary over here, like pipeline syntax you can use. Okay, let me do one more thing very quickly. It's successful. There's no error. That's nice. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to configure one thing, and we know, guys, after we download from GitHub, we know it is a Java code, and mostly I want this code to be to be built. So for this, I have to write some more step, and this step will go into build my code. Okay, so for this, what I'll do, again, go to pipeline and check, do you have any step for building, not a job. Okay, do you have any step to build Java code or to use Maven? So do you have any step for this? So let me go and check very quickly. Do you have any step for Maven? Okay, so SS they have, sleep they have, okay, timeout they have, tool they have, okay, but they don't have. Okay, so it means they don't have right now in this current version. There is no pre-created step, technically it's called keyword, for the Maven available. So in this case, obviously, what we have to do, we have to use Maven command. Let's say Maven package. And because this command we are going to use, and guys, how to run the command. For this, you use a step called sh. Is my command line. So this command line going to run this command, because Maven package command is a command who build your code. What code you downloaded, they build for you. That's one thing. So there's a thing you have to do. Let's go and check it will run or fail. Okay, but by chance in my container I have a Maven already installed. We get the same image I already show you. So I have the Maven, so this command is available there, so there is no challenge. Okay, so let me save and let's go and build. Okay, so again, guys, this pipeline gonna run, same thing gonna happen. First the download from the Git, and after download from the Git, then they use Maven to run it. Okay, so Git part is done. Now they're going to call a next step that's called sh, and now they are calling Maven, and now you can see, guys, Maven started. So technically thing is working nice, but there's one challenge here. by chance, if you want to try to run this job, okay, if you wanted to try to run this job, okay, not inside the container, because they already have Maven setup, or maybe this container image already have Maven path setup. Okay. Okay, but let's say you want to run this job in your current master node. And if you remember, guys, in a master node, okay, we installed Maven in some of the folder. Okay, and where we create this folder, we have configured somewhere in our in this page. In this page, so somewhere here in the in some global path, let's come up. In the global path, we set up that we might have multiple Maven, but one of the Maven that I want to use would be located not, I think, in this page. So 1 minute, go to this location automatic. Okay, you know, guys, we have set up Maven here, and say in our computer, by chance is a master computer. Okay, my Maven installed in this folder, and we given this name. Even though, guys, if you remember, whenever, guys, we create a job, we always give this name, that which Maven to use, right? I can hold for a second, please. Okay, so my point, guys, over here is right now I'm running the job in Docker container. They already have Maven path set by chance. That is the reason, guys, I haven't got any error and things work fine. But let's say if you want to run this job in such a worker node when Maven path is not set, and you've configured in your global setting this Maven I want to use. So that this page by chance is known as tool. So all the tool that you want to use in Jenkins, maybe Java, maybe Git, maybe Maven, maybe Docker, maybe. Okay. So, guys, if you want to use any third-party tool that normally you use a lot with Jenkins, so this is the page in the global you normally set. And while configuring the job, if you remember, you know, when I create the job, very quickly, let me show you. When I create a job, okay, and if you want to use Maven of your version, what normally you do. So in a build part, you say here, I want to use Maven. Okay, which one? Not default one, I want to use this one. And you know, this is what we have done already. Okay, so right now, this is the way you can set in UI or web UI. But same thing if you want to achieve in your pipeline. Okay, so for this we have a keyword available. Okay, and name of the keyword that you would obviously write outside, because tool is a global, and global thing we always write outside of the stages, but obviously inside the pipeline. And the keyword is called tool, or maybe I think tools. And here you can tell which tool you want to use here. You want to use Maven, Git, Gradle. So let's say I want to use Maven. So Maven is one of the keyword you have to use. And you to tell here, you might have multiple Maven installation. In my case, I want to use default one, my Maven 3 or other, whatever you have. So I say I want to use my Maven 3. Okay. So it means anywhere if you want to use Maven command, okay, we are going to use this particular Maven. This Maven is located where? In the folder that I show you somewhere. So it's again one of the keyword from pipeline. So if you have some customization changes of some path of Maven or some other tool, so you can use tools keyword to tell where you want to use. In my case, I don't have to do because this guy already have Maven set up already with the path. But maybe some moment you guys might require to set up this. Okay. Now if I run this code, nothing as such you will see. So if I run this code again, okay, again same thing gonna happen. So waiting to come up. They are going to download Git. and then they start maybe. So they start the way, but if you have a different path, you can use that tool, right? So tool is a keyword. Maybe most probably most of the time you guys might require to use it. Okay. Now next thing is after my Maven build, what I want my my jar to be run. So again, for this, you guys know Java is a command, jar is option. Okay, and you guys know in the workspace they create target folder, and the target they create a file with Java extension or Java extension. And because this is a command, maybe there's no step available for this, so you have to use a command, and command you put in a single code. So finally, guys, after the package, they run the code for you. Or maybe after the jar created or before the jar created, you want to create archive. So for this, go and check, do you have any option available for archive in your generator? So if you go and see in the first option, we have archive, and tell which file to archive. So we know in the current workspace, they create target folder and they will create some file name with your jar extension. So tell this your requirement, and they will dynamically create a code for you. So let me generate the code. Like I see, automatically create a code for you. So don't have to worry about now. Just copy this code, put it here, and paste it here. Okay. So download the code, package it, run it for me, go show me the output, and then they also create artifact for you. Okay. So save. Then you run one more time, and that's all. That's the way, guys, it work for you. So guys, this is some idea how the thing work, but on the top of this, lots of more and further plan you can do. We can write a conditions here, and let's say when I run my job, they ask me that you're running this job in the dev environment. Do you want to put this file in a production environment? Yes or no? It's like approval, or maybe you want to run and write something like this. We are running this code, and there are multiple branches. From which branch you want to put the data? I say if I am dev branch. So example, if I say dev environment, go and pick from the dev branch and run it, and then merge it, and then put in the production environment or branch. And so technically what I'm trying to tell you here is lots of different advanced and complex conditions you can set here to properly plan the entire pipeline end to end. Okay, so what I mean by this, in my next class, guys, I will talk more about to write some more advanced and complex code in the terms of management or in the terms of configuration. Okay, but here I want to give you the flavor. Okay, I just want to give you flavor. Okay, how to distribute your job dynamically in the multiple worker node, and how to write the code for this. Okay, and now what you'll see here finally, we run. So they are running, and in the last you will see they're running. They will create the jar, artifact it, or archive this, and they also print the value. So guys, here they print the value, and they also create archive. Okay, that's what. But lots of further things we can do. We can do parameterized. We can create an environment based on the environment, based on the version. We can further control. So don't worry, guys, what I'm talking about right now. In my next classes, we will go to next level of this particular topic. Okay, so that's all for today. I'll share this code to you. Okay, trying to set up this environment. What are the use case you have? What are the images you have? What are the things you want to do? You can do over here. Okay, so that's all for today, guys. See you in the next class. Any further quick queries if you have, you guys can ask. So why didn't you use ss with echo command yesterday? I think the answer you now understand. Ss is also one kind of step. Echo is also one inbuilt keyword or step here. How Jenkins know which image to use? I think Jatin, I told you already. Here I use the word level. Okay, and in our cloud, this level we have already set. I showed you already. This level is attached with one image, and that image they're gonna use. How can I get the Git clone? Actually, Harishankar, in the Git clone, we have a keyword credential. I show you right now. So in the credential, give you a login and password Git. They will download from your private repository also. Okay. How to pose a particular stage. In the initial, we have a discussion on this. I'll tell you in my next classes how to control pose or maybe stop particular stage. We will see. Yes, Rahul, if you use Maven tool, then Maven command will work on master also. Is it possible to create Docker image inside Docker? Answer yes, Harishankar. We have way to to create Docker container inside Docker container or Docker image inside Docker container. So all the things you can do it. So one Docker container, and inside the container you can set up the entire further setup. Okay, so this is called Docker inside Docker. We can do this. How to train model with Jenkins pipeline? I think I used in my some of the class I give the idea already how to create the model. I think we talk about machine learning, deep learning. I give the idea. Maybe I'll try to talk again in some of the classes. So why did you use everything in the same stage? This is very important point, Kunal, you have seen here, and there is a one intention here why I put everything in the single stage. Okay, and the intention would be discussed in the next class. Okay, but there is some reason if I put in different stages, thing might not work according to knowledge that we acquired till date. Okay, to do some more thing here to to have it work properly. Okay, but you're right. I put everything in same stage, but how to put different stage, different thing for different stages. That will be one of the topic of my next class. Okay. Yes, we have Vijay. We have a timeout option. We have a keyword of timeout. We can set up the timeout for the respective job. Yes, Jayesh, we can also set parameterized. In my upcoming class, we'll talk about parameterized, also timer, also environment, also. We'll see all of it. Does stages, all the stages, pipelines have same storage? If you run all the stages in the same agent, then they share the same storage or same workspace. But in my case, sorry, in my case, by chance, all the stages are running in different agents. So obviously every agent has their own storage. Okay, but yeah, uh, uh, if you run all the stages in one single agent or the node, they will share the same storage. If developer don't have the access to Jenkins, how they will use pipelines? This is for helping syntax. So this kind of tool you can find online also. If you search for pipeline syntax generator, is a free tool you can find online also. Okay. Yes, Sanket, in my upcoming classes in big data, we will also learn about Spark. Okay. So now there is no planning, Manish, for cloud training. As I already started long back, we are on to the closer phase of the cloud. How to install RPM command in RHEL? Avanish, RPM command is also come from software. Okay, and the command is not available RPM. How can you install this? So we have a way to extract the software, because what is software? Software is is like a archive, and when you install the software, it extract and store and copy in multiple folders. Okay, so typically, you know how RPM command is installed. So while installing the Red Hat, okay, they extract the software, or they might have RPM command as a binary in the DVD, okay, in some of the folder, and they copy in one of the folder we also have been to have the RPM command available. Okay, so you can think in this way. If you don't have RPM command, how to install RPM? You can't install RPM command available because we use RPM to install it. So get all the files, it will work. I've tested already some back, so it worked very fine. So that's all, guys, for today. See you guys in the next classes. We'll see a little bit more about pipeline as a code. Okay, so so thank you guys very much. See you.